This video I am gonna do on Kash Patel, on this guy here, a cute guy that has a big smile all over his face. I do owe him this video. This king of the schizophrenia, this is a lord of the schizophrenia. This is a lord of the mental illness in United States of America, in my case. This is the guy who was more powerful, more abusive, more criminal than Barack Obama. And Barack Obama was just a tool in hands of British royals, hired by people like Donald Trump to be a bad boy. In the state, whatever country might be, the one who has an upper hand on absolutely everything within the system, that's basically a deep state. And it doesn't matter what the fuck you do. So, this entrepreneur of killing people right out on a bright daylight, he used to visit Miami beginning 1998. This man visited Miami beginning 1998, more than he can count. He was in Miami 100 times before he appeared as officially as a state employee in 2005 in Miami. 100 times he was there. And he did exactly the same identical stuff afterwards. Once in Miami, with location where he would go next in the future. He tortured in Miami as a teenager, and after 2005 he tortured on location where he will go next up north. This is a king of the schizophrenia, the Lord of Lords, hired by the British royals to do as much schizophrenia as possible. Collect what you refer to as proofs, about my mental illness, through most severe physical torture methods. When this guy was involved in torture, he was not choosing a tool how to get it done. He was using extremely powerful drugs and brutal methods to accomplish his perception within the society. And he did not fail to also death threaten that if you will say I was here and this and that, schizophrenia. But this is one of the most violent individuals involved in MK Ultra, a very good friend of Novo Mesto Police Director Igor Juršić, with whom one also met more often and more times than one he can count, not only in Slovenia, but was also meeting Juršić in United States of America. The kings of the schizophrenia, the lords of the mental illness, gods. These are gods. Now you're talking about the gods. These are god status. This is the one that kills through the torture, sickens through the torture, threatens, if you will say you saw me with a psychiatric hospitalization, so they're basically kings, lords, these are gods, you know what you call God, and wear the police uniform as far as the FBI director, Federal Bureau Investigation Director, these are gods, these are lords of the schizophrenia. That's what this video is about. In 2008, I promised him in his future location in the house where he would purchase in the future and where he would do the torture. He was doing the torture at that house because obviously with neighbors involved in it, he wanted obviously to profile the neighbors, the future neighbors, and he wanted to establish himself through the terror, through the terrorism, through domestic terrorism, basically, by all the neighbors observing something is happening that you have no power of, and if you're going to meddle or try, you will be destroyed. That's what he was doing. This is a lord of the terrorism. This is the FBI director. A criminal whom Donald Trump had installed in this position, knowing that he would not last, because there's no fucking way anyone possibly could afford himself, like in my position, to let him pass. A neo-Nazi, open neo-Nazi Donald Trump, who believe will continue to project my image with the British royals in a light extremely unsuitable for me, extremely, I'm not going to say inconvenient, but I have nothing to do with it. Both of my families were involved in national resistance against neo-Nazi Germany and fascist Italy during the World War II. I'm not German, I'm not British, I'm not a neo-Nazi from the United States of America, I'm not an Aryan. And I don't have anything to do not with one or the other extreme. None of the two appears to me. For Donald Trump, or I should say Christopher Wray, knew that days of these guys, one becomes FBI director, are going to be counted, numbered. The rest about what Donald Trump stated, how he became a president, how he had to give a promise, pledge to the U.S. Democrats in 2019, it's what he stated me prior to departure, how he can arrest him, blah, 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 etc., etc. It was the same shit that Kash Patel was doing with me. It was exactly identical stuff that Kash Patel was doing with me. Kash Patel also death threatened with Donald Trump, using Donald Trump insisted me, once I'm gone, if I'm gone, there'll be nobody to stop Donald Trump, and this will be done to you and your papa and your mama and you, and so on and so forth. Yeah? So both sides, the same tactics, the same shit, but at the same time causing as much as possible damage. This is the guy from Barack Obama. This is, I'm not going to say even a deputy of the Barack Obama. This is more rotten than Barack Obama or Eric Holder or any of these people. This is a king of the rottenness in the United States of America. One extremist, more terrorist, more extremistic than the other. Domestic terrorists in the uniforms, in the police uniforms, in the uniforms of the Federal Bureau Investigation. One worse than the other. One bigger criminal than the other. A nobodies, a garbage, a trash, with a university degrees, and with a beautiful clothing they dress themselves with before they pin themselves a badge, without absolutely any kind of accomplishments in their lives. 0 point nothings terrorists walking around and killing real people, creating world based on their needs, based on the needs of their owners, changing the perception about reality on a global scale. He was extremely proud about when committing crimes up north, working in Miami, and presenting me as a racist, as I don't know what. Without anybody in Miami, in a parenthesis, understanding, because they're all connected. This garbage was all connected. All this criminal network was all connected. Understanding about what the fuck went on. This guy was meeting me at the Florida State Employment Agency. There was an agency. I am trying to find a location. The State Employment Agency. '15 Federal Highway. Let me see that. So everything changed. Everything changed so drastically that the whole landscape here is completely unrecognizable. What the fuck? This is like completely out of this world, man. Totally out of this world. Completely different. They changed things. They scary changed absolutely everything. This is crazy, this stuff here. Completely different. Completely different than what it used to be. I don't even recognize anymore the place I was going to. Here from the rear I can still recognize. Extremely confusing. I don't know whom he had working in that state employment agency. I had a feeling like he had a mama or papa. I have no idea why this. When he was a child, he was coming to this employment agency. 95. Teenager, not a child, okay? Teenager, he was visiting this state employment agency. What the fuck was he doing in there? In this state employment agency? Now, he came to this state employment agency since I think 97, something like that. 96, 97. Yeah, almost when I came down to Miami. When I started to search for the work, he started to pay visitations to the state employment agency. It's fucking insane. And systematically developed into one of the most violent terrorists who, with Joe Rogan, that you're not going to think that this is Barack Obama, or that this is just Obama. The Obama is Obama. It's just Obama. No, it's not like this. Here you see Joe Rogan, and this is Donald Trump. This boy was in our house more times than what he can count. You have Dana White, his brother Dana White, all these people. 1985, imagine. In 1985, I was just in my 7th grade at the grammar school, where this Silagia here started to replicate with through his haircut. His brother from Serbia. There you go. Christian Golubovic. Started to compete in abuse, in a torture. Likened one as a brother. I told you about how the Russians traveled to United States of America to meet with their brothers. This one is 55. This one is 57. Yeah, he spent a lot of time behind the bars. Most of his life he spent behind the bars, properly sealed, but it was always British royals who come to the rescue because he was part of the Illuminati club. A tough boy. Was a tough boy from the Germany, the same age as his Serbian brother from the Serbia. They're all tough boys. A tough boy club. One bigger than the other. Power boy. Started as a king of the schizophrenia to video record with Joe Rogan. Videos that you watch these days on the internet about him and Rogan discussing the issue that pertain to Donald Trump and so on. Stuff that was used during MKUltra brainwash to intimidate, to harass with. Joe Rogan and Kash Patel had their studio. Before this studio was even released, before the Joe Rogan was even in the business, in the studio business. I think so. I don't know much about the Rogan, but I don't think that I know definitely for Patel that he is recording now, these days, what he was doing with me next to Rogan beginning 2009. Something that Donald Trump, who was together with the British royals excited about appointing one as an FBI agent, was extremely motivated in having him. I told you that Barack Obama, Kash Patel, all this, you'll be surprised how small is the world we live in. You'll be surprised in a little box they put you people to see things as. Started to video record this stuff, rehearse with Joe Rogan the topics and so on, to the degree that Donald Trump is apparatus, Republicans I should say, started to insist in 2012, in 2011 they had enough of this stuff, and in 2012 Kash Patel was told that he will not be FBI director because of insane mingling with Joe Rogan. They came to the conclusion that this as an FBI director would not be a proper person involved in a show, so all kinds of stuff like this would not fit them. But shortly after somehow changed their mind. As it became to them, in 2011 it was like this. In 2012 I was thrown into the psychiatric hospital. And it appeared to them that that would be even better so. That the stuff that Kash Patel had me witness, terrorist from Miami downtown, could add some extra proofs to the police about my schizophrenia. The word is always about the animal and not about the human being. The word is always about the murderous, psychiatric maniac, psychopath, obsessed with the killing, terrorism, not about the human being. How, as a police officer, what police officer? When comes the police officer? What kind of police officer? The torture was so bad in 2008, I told him, I repeat, I'm gonna burn him inside of his house. He had me on 2 locations when it comes to his personal house. One location, or we would move, whatever the location was. His wife became extremely unhappy with the Kash Patel. He met his wife sometimes in 2006. And she became extremely unhappy about the Kash Patel's prospect of filming with Joe Rogan, because it would take hours to even commute himself to wherever Joe Rogan was at the time. Talking about 2008, 2009, 2010, and so on. And the marriage hit the breaks with her wanting to even divorce one, condition him with Joe Rogan to the degree that almost ended up in a divorce. Then there was another location that they moved. It was identical procedure, again the same shit repeated at new location, which however was very close to Joe Rogan. Whatever Joe Rogan was, is, whatever. So, this is your FBI, same old, same shit, new, Kash Patel, director, who, next to what I stated, have also video recorded me at his new work location, at his new job location. He found some work where he posed in, there were two locations. There were 2 locations. Supposedly they would change to one from FBI to one location shortly, and then there would be another one where he would stay longer time. There were like 2 locations. So that he was absolutely scanning. He was absolutely evaluating, working already at new locations and so on, before making every move he made. That's Kash Patel. That's your FBI director. Man, this one here was involved in some crazy stuff too. You understand in English, you understand everything. It's very important for me to put this literally, to liquefy this so that you can, you know, you get to see this stuff. You get to see it with your own eyes. Did you understand? My relation to the Kash Patel, whether I know about Kash Patel, I don't know about Joe Rogan before already and so on. Yeah, I do. I was guilty to Joe Rogan for whatever I was guilty to him. I was guilty to all of them because this is how they were making their money. So you still gotta see me. That's me. Hello. So you get to see me so that you understand I did this video. Now I'm gonna say to you, thanks for watching this video. Till next time. A very good friend of Igor Jurčić, terrorist, the domestic terrorist from Slovenia, local director of Novo Mesto police, Igor Jurčić, also a god, a psychiatrist, a judge, chili boom, anything you think. Yeah, you think.